Folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big, loud Texas welcome to the next President of the United States.
This ain't Texas, ain't no hold 'em, so lay a car.
I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. We did it, Joe.
Vice President Kamala Harris.
We are on the brink of World War III, and these hoes all over the world are still crashing out over the ability to make a decision of deleting an unborn fetus in the womb or a grown-ass baby at 10 months. There's a quote by Father Dwight, and Father Dwight was an Anglican priest of the Episcopal Church, and the Episcopal Church derived from the Church of England. And as history would have it, the Church of England to this day is still underneath the monarch of Queen Elizabeth I, who served from 1558 to 1588. Now, why is this important? Well, in the 1600s is when the Great Divide would happen between all of the churches. And in the 1600s is when the Baptist Church was first formed. And now that you have all this division, separation, and creation within the church, this would open Pandora's box to division, separation, and creation to one's own spiritual ideals and beliefs. And the quote reads, "First we overlook evil, then we permit evil, then we legalize evil, then we promote evil, then we celebrate evil, then we persecute those who still call it evil." End quote. Siri, what is evil?
Here's the definition of evil: profoundly immoral and wicked.
So, speaking of profoundly immoral and wicked, this is Vladimir Putin, the current president of Russia. Now, although we've been brainwashed to believe that Putin is an existential threat to the Western world, specifically the corporation called the United States of America, even though he just launched a ICBM in Ukraine, an intermediate continental ballistic missile, but he's not the evil one. And I'll explain why. Because in these United States, we're being eaten from the inside out by these political worms. Tapeworm, cankerworm, guinea worm, it doesn't matter, pick one, because we're still being eaten. We've been sold up the river. We've been sold a bill of goods that have no sale. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, this particular picture, this picture of what is perceived to be a peaceful transfer of power, is worth millions. You see that smile? Do you see that smile? What the fuck is Let's Go Brandon smiling so hard for? And where have we seen this wicked, evil, devilish grin before? Well, I'm gonna show you.
A political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
Am I clear to you? Can you see me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I remember I was stationed overseas, right? And when I was going to other countries, I was always marveled at the fact as to why these other countries are so focused on watching American news as to what's going on in the corporation called the United States of America. Then as I got older, of course, I finally got it, but I had to grow and I had to mature and start to understand geopolitics and the devil within. Then it became apparent that America sets the stage for the world. Our culture and how we act, how we dictate, how we govern sets the stage in other countries. And other countries watch us to see how they will govern, how they will rule, and if they want to allow the immorality in the West to permeate or be embedded in their culture. Speaking of culture, which is ironic, there's an author by the name of J.D. Unwin, and J.D. Unwin wrote about the fall of Rome in one of his books called Sex and Culture. And in his book, he illustrated that when a government governs towards a society's sexual liberation and caters toward the whims of women, then that modern society is more likely to fall. As in this case, i.e. Rome / the corporation called the United States of America. So when Putin sees and calls the United States a weakened society / nation, this is exactly what he means. Because America was founded on God, and the Russians know that. America was founded on God but built by slaves. And you can't contradict the very foundation you were founded on. And in 2024, we find ourselves fighting a war within, a war between abortion versus sexism and American traditions and culture. Which is why the enlistment rate for all the branches of military service are at an all-time low. Because men, especially young men, no longer want to fight for a country who doesn't want to fight for them. In said government, within said country, which is governed by men, for men, and of men, over time has found themselves in a state of perpetual political confirmation bias by completely ignoring all the basic rights of men while leaning laws towards these modern day women, which is why we find ourselves in a matriarchal society rather than a patriarchal one. And so as you watch these modern day women on the internet completely crash out over the election, and with the recent picture / painting done by an artist by the name of Nikki Free depicting black women, the 92% of women of black women who voted for cackling Kamala Harris, as they sit on top of a building with the American flag draped over it, watching the rest of the world / city, a city near you, burning down to the ground without taking into account or without even taking any accountability that they're the ones who started the fire. And that's why this election proves one thing, if nothing else, that majority of white women are more based and centrally biased than majority of liberal black women. So to all my young soldiers, protect your seat at all costs, keep your head down and your ammo dry, and I'll see you on the next one. Salute!
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
From Dog Tags.